Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to talk about cube roots. The index of a cube root is always 3. So if we have the cube root of 64, it is written as this symbol. So it is read as cube root of 64. So this 3 symbolize or signifies the index. So as one can observe, when it comes to square root, we don't have any index, but automatically it's 2. But in mathematics, we don't need to write 2 in a square root. So what does cube root mean? The cube root of a number is the value when multiplied by itself 3 times gives the original number. So let us have some cube root vocabulary. So this is the index, this is the radical sign, and the number or the function inside the radical sign is the radicand. So what are perfect cubes? If a number is a perfect cube, then you can find its exact cube root. A perfect cube is a number that can be written as the cube raised to the third power of a certain number. So take note, a cube root can be solved with a negative on the inside of the root symbol. Unlike if we are talking of perfect squares, they are supposed to be or automatically positive. But with perfect cubes, we have negative numbers inside the root symbol, or we have negative radicand. So here are some examples of perfect cubes. So 1 to the third, which means 1 times 1 times 1, it is equal to 1. So therefore 1 is a perfect cube. 2 to the third equals 2 times 2 times 2, which is equal to 8. So therefore 8 is a perfect cube. 3 to the third equals 3 times 3 times 3, which is equal to 27. So therefore 27 is a perfect cube. 4 to the third equals 4 times 4 times 4. It is equal to 64. So therefore 64 is a perfect cube. And then 5 to the third, which is equal to 5 times 5 times 5, equals 125. So therefore 125 is a perfect cube. And so on and so forth. So there are a lot of perfect cubes. So let us have the cube root of 64. It is equal to 4 because 4 times 4 times 4, which is equal to 4 to the third, is equal to 64. So if we are going to extract the cube root of a number, it is the reverse of cubing a number. If we have cube root of negative 64, as one can notice in here, we have a negative radicand. So therefore, it is automatically that our answer is negative. So the cube root of negative 64 equals negative 4 because negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 equals negative 64 or negative 4 to the third power. So extracting the cube root, it is the reverse of cubing a number. So let us have other examples. Let us determine the cube root of 27, the cube root of negative 216, and the cube root of 64 over 125. So what do you think is the cube root of 27? Or what is that number that when you multiply by itself 3 times, it is equal to 27? Correct, it is equal to 3. How about the cube root of negative 216? What is that number that if you multiply by itself 3 times, it is equal to negative 216? Correct, it is negative 6. And what is that fraction that when you multiply by itself 3 times, it is equal to 64 over 125? Correct, it is 4 over 5. So in getting the cube root of a fraction, you get the cube root of the numerator first and then get the cube root of the denominator. So cube root of 64 is 4 and cube root of 125 is 5. So now let us simplify cube roots. So there are numbers that are not perfect cube, but they have one factor that is a perfect cube. So not all numbers or expressions have an exact cube root as in the previous examples. If a number is not a perfect cube, then you might able to simplify it. To simplify a cube root, here are the steps. 1. Write the radicand as a product of two factors, where one of the factors is a perfect cube. Then second, extract the cube root of the factor that is a perfect cube. And then the third one, the factors that are not perfect cubes will remain as the radicand. So let us have example number 1. Let us determine the cube root of 54. 54 is equal to 27 times 2. So we all know that 27 is a perfect cube. And the cube root of 27 is 3, leaving behind 2 inside the radical symbol. So cube root of 54 equals 3 cube root of 2. Then let us have example number 2. Let us determine the cube root of 640. 640 equals 64 times 10. And we all know that 64 is a perfect cube. And the cube root of 64 is 4. So therefore, the cube root of 640 equals 4 cube root of 10. Now let us have the third example, cube root of 500. So what are the factors of 500 wherein one of the factors is a perfect square? Or perfect cube, I mean. Correct. So it is 125 times 4. So we all know that 125 is a perfect cube and the cube root of 125 is 5. So the cube root of 500 equals 5 cube root of 4. So not all cube roots can be simplified. Okay? So example, cube root of 30. 30 is not a perfect cube. And 30 does not have a perfect cube factor. So therefore, cube root of 30 cannot be simplified at all. So if a number is not a perfect cube and does not have a perfect cube factor, or one of the factors is not a perfect cube, then therefore it cannot be simplified. So just write cube root of 30 or cube root of that certain number. So let us go on to applications of square roots and cube roots. Example number 1, ABCD is a rectangle. AB is equal to 8 centimeters and AD equals 9 centimeters. Let us find BD and correct the answer to two decimal places. So in here, we learn in Unit 1 about Pythagorean theorem. So we shall apply the concept to solve for side BD. So BD squared equals 9 squared minus 8 squared. Why did I subtract it? Because if you are looking for the one of the legs, we are going to subtract. But if you are looking for the hypotenuse, you need to add. So 9 squared is equal to 81 and 8 squared is equal to 64. Then in solving for BD, we are going to extract the roots of both sides of the equation. Then we can cancel your radical symbol, square root n to the power of 2. So we will be getting BD equals square root of 17 because 81 minus 64 equals 17. And if you want to simplify it further, using your calculator, it is equal to 4.12 centimeters. But because you are not allowed to use calculator inside the room or classroom, so I will just accept if ever square root of 17 centimeters. So either of the two will do. And now let us have another one. What is the total volume of 55 cubes given each of side is 4 centimeters? So let us recall how to solve for the volume of a cube. So it is equal to side to the third power. So given the side, we are just going to multiply it 3 times or s to the third power. And then, since we are looking for the volume of 55 cubes, so the volume of 55 cubes equals 55 times the volume of 1 cube, which is 4 centimeters to the third. And 4 to the third is equal to 64. 64 times 55, it is equal to 3,520. And don't forget to put the unit. So it is cubic centimeters. So the volume of 55 cubes with a side of 4 centimeters is 3,520 cubic centimeters. So that's it for now. Please do your worksheet number 5. It is a live worksheet. It is in your Google Classroom. So thank you for watching. See you again next time. Bye.